مساء الخير جميعا. أبدأ بالترحيب بمعالي وزير الخارجية الكساندر. أهلا وسهلا بك في الأردن. الزيارة تأتي في وقت عصيب تمر به منطقتنا، وركزت على الجهود التي نقوم بها من أجل وقف الكارثة الإنسانية والعدوان الإسرائيلي على غزة، وإيصال المساعدات الإنسانية والتقدم نحو حل سياسي للقضية الفلسطينية. بحثنا العلاقات الثنائية، ثمة علاقات تاريخية وكبيرة بين الأردن والنمسا، ونريد أن نطورها وأن نزيد من انعكاساتها الإيجابية على البلدين وعلى الشعبين. في موضوع غزة وضعت معالي الوزير في أولوياتنا في المملكة. أولويتنا الأولى هي وقف العدوان بشكل فوري. الأولوية الثانية هي إدخال المساعدات الإنسانية إلى قطاع غزة بشكل كاف وكامل لمواجهة كارثة إنسانية غير مسبوقة على مدى عقود، حيث يواجه أكثر من 2,300,000 فلسطيني خطر المجاعة جراء عدم سماح إسرائيل بدخول المساعدات الكافية لأهل غزة. هذا العدوان لن يحقق أمنا، لن يحقق سلاما، ولن يؤدي إلا إلى المزيد من الصراع والمزيد من التصعيد، وبالتالي وقفه أمر يجب أن يعمل المجتمع الدولي كله على تحقيقه بأسرع وقت ممكن. أيضا وضعت معالي الوزير في صورة ما يجري في الضفة الغربية من تصعيد يهدد بتفجر الأوضاع في الضفة، خصوصا وأننا على مشارف شهر رمضان الكريم. أكدت على ضرورة وقف كل الإجراءات التي تقوم بها إسرائيل من أجل محاصرة حق المصلين في القيام بواجباتهم الدينية في هذا الشهر الفضيل، والتزام الوضع التاريخي والقانوني في المقدسات الإسلامية والمسيحية في القدس المحتلة. أيضا تحدثنا عن الخطر الاستيطاني وإعلان أحد المتطرفين في الحكومة الإسرائيلية عن بناء مستوطنات جديدة، وهذا أمر يتفق العالم كله على أنه خرق للقانون الدولي، وعلى أنه تصعيد لن يؤدي إلا إلى زيادة التوتر، فندين هذه الخطوة بشكل كامل وبشكل صريح. ما نريده في المملكة كما أكدنا دائما أن نحقق السلام العادل والشامل، والسلام العادل والشامل لن يتحقق إلا إذا حصل الفلسطينيون على حقوقهم المشروعة في الحرية والدولة ذات السيادة على ترابهم الوطني وفق المرجعيات المعتمدة لتعيش هذه الدولة بأمن وسلام إلى جانب إسرائيل. هذه الحرب لن طالت أكثر من اللازم، ضحاياها بعشرات الآلاف، أكثر من 30,000 فلسطيني ارتقى خلال هذه الحرب، أكثر من نصف مليون فلسطيني الآن في أعلى معدلات المجاعة في العالم، وهذا أمر يجب أن ينتهي وأن ينتهي فورا. وستستمر المملكة في العمل إقليميا ودوليا من أجل إنهاء هذه الكارثة ومن أجل تلبية حقوق الشعب الفلسطيني الكامل سبيلا لتحقيق السلام الذي يحقق الأمن والاستقرار للفلسطينيين وللإسرائيليين. فمرة ثانية أرحب بك معالي الوزير، وأشكرك على الصراحة والوضوح في المحادثات التي أجريناها. شكرا.
الحضور الكرام، معالي الوزير أيمن الصفدي العزيز، شكرا على هذا الترحيب الحار في عمان. سبق لي وزرت الأردن عدة مرات سابقة وشعرت بالترحيب، وكانت آخر هذه المرات قبل 2 سنين. وأشعر أن هذه المرة مختلفة، وقد اضطررنا في الأشهر القليلة الماضية إلى مشاهدة بعد جديد من الدمار يمس منطقة ضاقت أمر من حصتها في هذا العالم. قد دفعت هجمات الإرهاب لحماس غزة والمنطقة بأكملها إلى حافة الهاوية، ووقع ويل هذا الصراع كما هو الحال في جميع الصراعات على المدنيين العزل. أتيت إليكم بعد زيارة لتل أبيب والقدس ورام الله، وساد لدي خلال هذه الزيارة شعورا بصدمة الإسرائيليين. وحتى الآن وأثناء حديثنا لا تزال توجد أكثر من 130 رهينة في غزة، ومنها أب نمساوي جنسية والد لطفلين. كما أشعر بالوقت ذاته بقلق حقيقي وعميق بشأن الوضع الإنساني الكارثي في غزة. لا يمكن لأي شخص أن يبدي عدم اهتمام في وجه المعاناة الإنسانية التي نشاهدها. لا تخضع المعاناة الإنسانية للطبقية الاجتماعية، ولا يمكن تفضيل معاناة شعب على شعب آخر. تحتاج غزة مساعدتنا، والوضع الإنساني في غزة كارثي. وأود أن أعبر عن امتناني لجهود الأردن المتواصلة لتقديم المساعدة الإنسانية الحرجة للمدنيين الفلسطينيين في غزة. كما سبق للنمسا نفسها أن خصصت 13 مليون يورو على شكل مساعدات طارئة للشعب الفلسطيني في غزة ومن أجل الاستقرار في المنطقة. تأتي هذه المساعدات إضافة إلى أكثر من 300 مليون يورو على شكل مساعدات قدمتها إلى المنطقة خلال السنوات العشر الماضية. وقدمت الحكومة تقديم 10 ملايين يورو إضافية. ستحصل اللجنة الدولية الصليب الأحمر على 5 ملايين يورو منها، ومنظمة الأمم المتحدة اليونيسف على 3 ملايين منها، ومنظمة الصحة العالمية على 2 مليون. أول أولويتنا هي الوصول. لا يجوز أن نغض بصرنا عن معاناة الشعب الفلسطيني، وأيضا لا يجوز أن نغض بصرنا عن معاناة عائلات الرهائن في غزة. وفي هذا الوضع الصعب تلعب الأردن دورا مهما جدا كمكان مستقر في المنطقة. وتكلمنا اليوم أيضا عن تشاركنا بالعديد من الأمور. نريد نحن الاثنين الوصول إلى حل دولتين، ونريد الوصول إلى دولة فلسطينية. لا أرى أي بديل لذلك، فلا الفلسطينيين ولا الإسرائيليين سيختفون عن وجه الأرض. وقد أخطأنا في الماضي حين اعتقدنا أن عملية التطبيع أو ما يسمى بمعاهدات إبراهيم أنها ستستبدل القضية الفلسطينية، ولكن وجدنا الآن أن هذا لن يحصل، وأن القضية الفلسطينية والمعاهدات والتطبيع هي وجهين لعملة واحدة، وهو الطريق الوحيد أماماً للوصول إلى السلام بين الفلسطينيين والإسرائيليين، أن يعيشوا مع بعضاً في السلام. وليكن كلامي واضحاً، يجب أن تكون غزة جزءاً من هذه الدولة الفلسطينية. وأنا أرفض أي كلام عن النزوح القسري، إن موقف النمسا واضح بما يخص الاستوطانات والاستفزازات في المواقع المقدسة، إنها بكل بساطة غير مقبولة. عزيزي أيمن، أنا والنمسا نقدر تعاوننا، ونتطلع أن نعزز هذا التشارك بين دولتينا. وقريبا سيأتي شهر رمضان المبارك، وهو شهر الصيام وشهر الصلاة وشهر المجتمع. أتمنى أن هذا النور الضئيل الذي نراه أمامنا سوف نصل قبل 10 من شهر القادم. أشكرك جدا على ترحيب الحار مرة أخرى.
Yes, hello. I have a question to you, Mr. Minister. You have called on Israel to stop the aggression, to stop building settlements. And I wondered, why haven't you called on Hamas to release the hostages and maybe even lay down their arms so that this war could end?
Thank you so much. Let me just start by reiterating that not just Jordan, but the whole Arab world condemned the killing of Israeli civilians on October 7. We have yet to hear one Israeli official condemn the killing of 30,000 Palestinian civilians, including 12,000 children. We urge the end of aggression because it simply will not solve anything. It will only lead to more escalation, more hatred, more dehumanization. And we have been very, very clear that what we want is a just and lasting peace that would allow for the Palestinians and Israelis to live in peace and security. As the minister said, nobody can have, there can be no peace unless there's a Palestinian state, because that's a legitimate, inalienable right of the Palestinian people, and we do in the whole region recognize Israel's right to live in peace and security. I'll remind you that since 2002, the whole Arab world came up with the Arab Peace Initiative that expressed Arabs' position to have full peace, full normal ties with Israel in return for ending the occupation and the establishment of a sovereign, viable Palestinian state on June 4, 1967, lines with occupied Jerusalem as capital. That is our position, and we believe that we've always condemned violence, and we believe that the only way to convince people that violence is not going to help is by offering an alternative. The alternative that we've been working for decades is a just and lasting peace. And if you convince the Palestinian people that they have a future, they themselves will be the first to say, we want to live in peace and dignity, and we don't want violence to emerge. But again, we have to remember that October 7 did not happen in a vacuum. There's a context. For years before that, there's been complete blockage of political horizon. Israeli Prime Minister himself had publicly said that he will suffocate Palestinian people's aspiration for statehood. Settlements were continuing to build and therefore undermining the viability of the two-state solution. Confiscation of land was continuing. Eviction of people from their homes was continuing. Encroachments and violations of the on the holy sites and violations of the status quo, not just on Muslim, but Muslim and Christian holy sites was continuing. So in that context, we have warned against the potential of the situation exploding. We continue to warn that the situation will explode again next year or the year after, unless we end the root cause of the conflict, which is occupation and the denial of the Palestinians' people right to live in peace and security in their own sovereign state. Jordan is a peacemaker. We've had a peace treaty with Israel for almost 30 years. We've worked relentlessly to achieve just and lasting peace. And even now, if we come out and put the question that should be put forward is that if we come out with the best plan for peace that Europe supports, that the US supports, and the Israeli government says no, then where do we go from here? Right now, the whole world agrees on the two-state solution as the only path forward. The whole world agrees that settlements should stop. The whole world agrees that people should not suffer, that the 2.3 million Palestinians in Gaza should not be taken hostage and denied their right to food and water. And Israel is saying no. So what do we do if the Israeli government continues to say no? And are there going to be consequences, global consequences, by the international community on the Israeli government if it stands between the region and its right to live in peace? Thank you.
مساء الخير. سؤالي لصاحبي المعالي، هل تم المباحثات فيما يخص شأن الأنروا؟ ويعني يتفق كثيرون على أنه اليوم الأنروا هي جزء من الكارثة التي تحدث في غزة أو في الأراضي الفلسطينية بشكل عام. هل هناك تم بحث دعمها وعودة الحياة الطبيعية إلها للأنروا، سيما وإحنا كلنا بنعرف أنها اليوم هي على إن لم تكن على باب أزمة فهي فعلا في أزمة حقيقية؟ شكرا. أكيد جزء من مش جزء من الكارثة، لا جزء من الأضرار اللي عم تصيبها ومراكز الإيواء. لا مش أكيد مش جزء منها.
English or German? What you? English or German? I mean, to be very honest, when the news came out that members working for UNRWA were part of the attacks on the 7th of October, it was shocking for us. Because Austria is one of the states, for us, UN is important. We are one of the 3 seats of the UN next to New York and Geneva. It's part of our foreign policy. It's a core element. And I believe our aim has to be that the UN always stands above any reproach, any doubt, especially in an emotionalized region such as the Middle East. And just to make one thing very clear, we didn't withdraw any money. What we said is we suspend, we want to have an investigation. What we would do on any national institution as well if such an issue were coming to the public. And I was actually encouraged by our discussions we had as a donors group, and it's not only, it's 16 countries all in all, with the UN and the UN Secretary General, that they have understood the problem, that they want to deal with it. And they're having not only an internal investigation, but also an external investigation headed by our common partner and former colleague Catherine Colonna, the French foreign minister. What I want to see now is the results. And I want not only to see what are the measures taken against those who were part and who was actually part of it, but also control mechanisms that something like that can never happen again. We, as not only as Austrians, as Europeans, we are the biggest funder of the Palestinian Authority. We are the biggest funder of UNRWA. And it's Austrian and European taxpayers' money. We have to explain it. We have to justify it. And we need due diligence. So it's not about replacing or whatever. It's about making sure that things are done the way the UN wanted it, the way the mandate is actually meant to be. And that is the whole issue.
First of all, I want to thank the Minister for the new contributions that he just announced to help the Palestinians overcome this humanitarian catastrophe resulting from the aggression on Gaza. And on UNRWA, I'll say the following. UNRWA is a lifeline for Palestinians. Nobody can do the job that UNRWA is doing right now. Every dollar taken away from UNRWA is denying a Palestinian child, woman, or elderly or sick person the chance of meeting this basic of needs. The allegation against UNRWA, there were allegations against 12 out of UNRWA's 13,000 staff members. UNRWA acted responsibly. It immediately fired those in question, even before the investigation proved their involvement. It announced, as the Minister said, it announced internal investigation within the UN, and it also allowed for an independent investigation headed by the former French Foreign Minister. So we believe that UNRWA should continue to perform its mandate. UNRWA has done the right thing, and we hope the world will do the right thing by continuing to support an agency that has a track record of helping refugees, not just in Gaza, not just in the West Bank, but in its 5 areas of operations, Jordan, Syria, and Lebanon as well. So we believe UNRWA must be funded. UNRWA must be allowed to continue to work. And again, UNRWA accepted and did the right thing by opening an investigation. I hope the world will wait for that investigation, and that investigation again will show that UNRWA is indispensable, irreplaceable, and is doing what it can to fix whatever wrongdoings there are that exist. I just want to also add that the truth is UNRWA has been the target of political assassination even before October 7. There are those, and I'm not referring to our colleagues in Austria or in Europe who have been, as he said, the largest funder for UNRWA, but there are people out there, including in Israel, who want to eliminate UNRWA. And that cannot happen because UNRWA was established by a UN mandate, and its mandate should continue to exist until the issues of refugees is dealt with within the context of a comprehensive and lasting peace. So we urge all our partners to fund UNRWA, to make sure that UNRWA has the resources it needs to help, as I said, 2.3 million people in Gaza facing starvation, and to continue with its services to over 5 million Palestinian refugees outside Gaza as well. UNRWA's schools have become shelters. UNRWA's 263,000 Palestinian kids who used to go to UNRWA schools are now not able to go to their schools because of the aggression, and because their schools are providing the only shelter to 1.7 Palestinians who've been pushed away from their homes. So we just have to look at things in perspective, and I think if you look at the balance sheet, UNRWA has done a lot of good, and the allegations must be investigated, but they should not be a reason to dehumanize an agency whose human record is impeccable. And let's also remember that there are allegations against 12 members of UNRWA's 13,000 staff, but at the same time, UNRWA lost 158 people who were killed by Israel during this aggression. So we hope that UNRWA will be enabled to continue to do its job, because if UNRWA stops, people will starve. And other UN agencies, including World Food Programme, World Health Organization, all of them are saying they cannot operate without the essential support and infrastructure that UNRWA has. Thank you. Take one more question.
Okay. Good evening. My question is also to Minister Safadi. I was wondering, on what issues are you currently communicating with your Israeli counterparts? What are you able to negotiate? What are the successes, if any, and what are the main obstacles in the communication between you and your Israeli counterparts at this point? What are the issues that you communicate on with your Israeli counterparts? What are the successes, if any, and what are the main obstacles in these talks with your Israeli colleagues?
Thank you. I'm not in touch with my Israeli counterpart, but our position has been very clear and communicated through various channels. We want this war to end. We want humanitarian supplies to come in. We want restrictions on worshippers in Jerusalem to stop. We want unilateral actions that undermine the two-state solution to end. And we want to be able to create an environment whereby we can restore hope for peace, and to make sure that all measures that are standing between the peoples of the region and their right to peace are removed. By the end of the day, as I said, unless there is peace, unless there's just and lasting peace, nobody's going to live in security in this part of the world. We in Jordan have suffered the consequences of conflict, not just when it comes to Palestine, Israel, but also other conflicts in the region. No other country has more interest in peace than we are, because no other country has paid the price of the absence of peace than we are. And what we want again is to end this madness, to end this catastrophe, and to take immediate steps that will make sure that what we have seen since October 7 does not happen again. And the only way to guarantee that this does not happen again is, again, to fulfill the rights of the Palestinians and to address the legitimate concerns of the Israelis. And this is not just a Jordanian, this is a Jordanian Arab position that is also supported by the international community. The current situation is disastrous, it's catastrophic, it is a violation of every human right. It has to stop, and then the only way towards the future that Jordan has always worked for, which is a future of peace and stability and security, is to end the occupation, allow for a Palestinian state to emerge on the Palestinian national soil, to live in peace and security with the Israelis. Israel cannot have security unless Palestinians have security. The region cannot have security unless this conflict is solved. This conflict will not be solved, as my dear friend said, unless the Palestinians have their rights. The fallacy that was promoted by the Israeli Prime Minister and others, that you can parachute over the Palestinian issue to have regional peace, has proven bloodily and painfully wrong by the events that we have seen, the terrible events that we've seen unfolding in the past 5 months. So That is where Jordan has always been. That's where Jordan will always be. We stand on principle that we want peace, and we have the credibility of a peacemaker, and we know what needs to be done to achieve peace. And I can tell you very confidently that this war will not achieve peace. Unilateral measures on the West Bank that undermine the two-state solution will not achieve peace. Settlements will not achieve peace, and allowing radicals like Ben-Gvir and Smotrich to dictate the agenda for the future will not achieve peace. Thank you. في أي سؤال ثاني?
All questions answered.